Yo, what's up? I'm TGH, and this is my submission for AGDQ 2019. This is part of the stretch submissions, and this is the one I'm going to be making. This is The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for the Nintendo Switch. This is the remake, the 2019 edition, however you want to call it. It is what it is. So the first thing I'm actually going to do before I even start the run is I'm actually going to restart my Switch. So I'm going to hold my power button in order to restart, and I'm going to start time. You can notice that my time is actually -1 minute. I actually use this for timing for manipulation. So there is RNG manipulation in the run. This is actually the only instance of RNG manipulation that happens before the run. It is very safe, don't worry. You basically have a 180 frame window that's 3 seconds to know what your egg path at the end of the game is going to be, and I'll explain more about that as we go. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start. So, oh, whoops, my bad, I won't start yet. There we go. Okay, so once again, this is The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, and what I'm doing right now is I'm actually going to so I'm going to let the game load, and then I'm going to, after exactly 32.8 seconds, which is -27.2 on my timer, I'm gonna go ahead and hit my main profile here. So right now, so it's actually, and I'm gonna mash through this opening cutscene as well as fast as I can. There we go, and I'll start the file once the timer hits 0. So basically, what I've done now is it's switch power on to game start, which is what determines at the end of the game there's a dungeon that all right, there we go. There's, oh wait a minute, what the, okay, well, I'm gonna basically, you know what, it's fine, we're good, should be okay. I'm just gonna start 13 seconds late, it's fine, don't worry about it. I don't know what happens. Okay, so Link waking up in bed after he was washed ashore on this magical island of Kahalant. There's a dark secret of this island that we'll find out later on. But basically, alright, so more about the egg path manipulation. It's from switch power on to game start when you hold L and R to skip the opening cutscene. It's pretty neat, actually. So now, there's normally like a huge trading sequence that we have to go through. Like we have to trade like a bunch of items in order to get an item at the end of the game called the Magnifying Lens. And what that does is it allows you to this is all like normally in casual play, this is what you do, and we don't do this in the run. So we get an item called the Magnifying Lens, which lets us read text from a book in the library whose text is ordinarily too small to read, and that tells you the path to go in the final dungeon in the game to get to the final boss. That is determined by what I mentioned before, the switch power on to game start, and it's to the second. So I know the seed I'm on, or I know one of the 2 seeds, I know 2 out of the 3 potential seeds that I could be on, and I'll have confirmation of what seed that is in Dungeon 4, which I'll explain later as well. Alright, so now I have the sword, enough about that. Another thing to mention is that this game, I am playing in German. German is the fastest language. You can skip cutscenes instantaneously in this game. Excuse me, not cutscenes. You can skip text instantaneously in this game. Like, it all just kind of goes away. Like, the text, the speed, the text does not have a speed at which it scrolls. You just mash away instantly. So we go by the language that just has the fewest amount of text boxes, and that happens to be German. It's really not even because of the language itself, it's just because of the way the language is actually formatted within the text box, which is actually pretty interesting. And so from starting at this point, I will be counting my extra kills, or at least trying to. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to bother. Ordinarily in a PvE attempt, I would count my extra kills. I'm not going to bother here. I'm not going to bother here, mainly because I don't want to have to do it in a marathon setting, so I'm just gonna get rupees that are slightly slower later, that's like 5 seconds slower or something. It's fine. Alright, so now we get the mushroom in the forest. We're gonna take this mushroom to the witch. This game is pretty slow to start. The first 20 minutes or so, actually, well, the first like 10 minutes or so are pretty slow. And then once you complete Dungeon 1, and then the game starts to pick up a little bit. And once you finish Dungeon 2, it's just like, it's a really good pace. But yeah, the game gets progressively glitchier as it goes on. It's a pretty dry run at the start. But so we need these 50 rupees for later. These rupees are for buying bombs, mainly, as well as Tracy's potion, which actually has a pretty significant use later on in the run, involving certain glitches that we do. There are two main glitches that we do involving the Tracy potion, so those are both 28 rupees each, or 42. That's another situation that I'll get into later. It's not complicated, but it's very weird to explain to this part of the game, so I'm not going to. Alright, so now we exchange the mushroom for the magic powder, which we're going to sprinkle on the raccoon in the forest to make him not transport you to a different part of the forest when you walk by him. You know, normal things. Totally normal things. Oh, that was nice. Nice damage boost. Little things you can do here and there to save a bit of time. That's really all you're trying to focus on at the beginning of the run. This raccoon makes a really funny noise and then just kind of bounces around the screen. You'll notice that not a lot of stuff really makes sense in this game as far as, like, you know, story goes. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's all a dream. So none of it makes sense. It's a dream. It's a dream world. Except it's not your dream. It's somebody else's dream. But I won't spoil anything. Don't worry. Don't worry about that. So the owl comes and says two words to us and then immediately flies off. Just to waste our time. The owl basically just like comes and tells you, you know, it gives you a general direction to go. It points you in the right direction, casually. But in the speedrun, he's just annoying. So now we're making our way toward Dungeon 1 now that we have the tail key. Toward the aptly named Tail Cave. I won't even try to pronounce the German words for these dungeons. Honestly, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Yeah. So ordinarily in an attempt for personal best. Okay, so I guess I'll explain Tracy now. There's really nothing much else to explain right now. So Tracy has a very strange mechanic where she'll sell you her potion for one of two different prices, either 28 rupees or 42 rupees. And it all depends on how many enemies you kill, like from the start of the game until that point. So if it's an even number of enemies, she'll sell to you for 28 rupees. If it's an odd number, she'll sell to you for 42. Why? It's because she's Tracy. She's literally called Crazy Tracy in the game. So honestly, like, that's the reason why. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So yeah, let's see if I can take the inner path here. Nice. You have to move really cleanly to get that path underneath. Yeah, this speed game is actually really interesting. In fact, just recently there was a huge new, well, it was a skip in Dungeon 7 Eagle Tower that has been theorized for a long time, and there has recently been a couple of setups found for it. There are 3 different setups. None of them are viable for a marathon setting, like literally at all. By the way, I just had something called auto-loading. So the game immediately saves your progress whenever you get an item or open a door or do anything else significant. Like this key, for instance, you'll see an icon on the bottom right that says now saving in German. So basically what happened there was the game saved my progress, but if you auto-load in a dungeon, it actually brings you back to the beginning, which can be, it's basically a save warp. And you keep the item, of course. You keep the item, it just warps you back to the beginning of the dungeon. It's very useful in dungeons, really only in dungeons. Dungeon exclusive trick. It's not even really a trick, it's an intended mechanic. Alright, so we're about to go fight the mini-boss, and then immediately the boss of this dungeon. Now that we have the nightmare key. Again, just doing every little thing I can to, you know, walk as cleanly as possible and, you know, jump over slash enemies if they get in my way like that. It's dungeon 1 is really just kind of like, you do it completely as intended. Pretty much. Alright, so this guy should just take 8 slashes. I missed the first one, but the rest was okay. Alright, so now we're fighting Moldorm. Moldorm will take 2 spin slashes. 4 hits with the sword normally. He'll go through like kind of an invulnerability period for a while, and then my goal is to time it correctly so that I hit him as soon as his invulnerability period ends. So let's see. I usually jump 8 times here. 5, 6, 7, 8. And then... he kind of... Oh, he's trolling me. He actually really trolled me, but whatever. It's fine. He just refused to face away from me. That was wild. Alright, so we're going to pick up this heart container. So I'm actually going to go ahead and get most of the heart containers in this run. Solely because, like, I'm going to basically emulate exactly what I plan to do in a marathon should this run get accepted. That skip that I mentioned earlier with the Dungeon 7 skip. So there are 3 different setups for it. One of them is luck dependent. There's a 1 in 3 chance to get it depending on a certain angle. One of them is extremely luck dependent, meaning like you have to mash feather during it and hope you get it in the right frame, and it'll like deposit you in the instrument room. And the third one is double frame perfect, and also requires 4.5 hearts of damage to actually execute. So yeah, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try it once, maybe twice, and if I don't get it, I'll be abandoning it. And it takes like maybe a minute to attempt. It's really no big deal if I fail it. My estimate for this run, I would say it probably will be about I almost said a minute 30, an hour 30. That'll give me plenty of time. There are some skips in this run that can be volatile, so want to give ourselves plenty of time here. So you may have noticed that I'm carrying this this Kuko towards or into the forest. There is a reason for this, I promise. There's a reason I'm doing this. So we're gonna use a like over here, these sponge-like things that look like pancakes, sort of, or like multi-layered pancakes, and we're gonna use this Kuko to. He's giving me kind of a bad angle. Yeah, he's okay. So I need to manipulate this like to. Come on. All right, he'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Come back to the left. I need him to come down to a specific spot. This might work. But basically, I'm gonna stand here, throw the Kuko there. Like's gonna spit me up, and perfect. I'm on top of the trees. Just like that. So this is a skip. This is called Bow Wow skip because you skip having to get Bow Wow, and you just walk on these brambles across the swamp. Hopefully, yep, there we go. Good, awesome. So now we're in Dungeon 2 without a problem. You don't need Bow Wow ever. We don't get Bow Wow in this run. This was a skip that was actually just recently found. so let's see. Okay. That was decent. There are a few combat-related rooms in Dungeon 2 which can be pretty RNG heavy, luck heavy. But for the most part, Dungeon 2 is a lot like Dungeon 1, where you're just kind of like... You're just kind of trying to save frames wherever you can. So there's a key in that room, but we skip that key to get another one later because it's a little faster. It's actually a lot faster. It's like 5 seconds faster, which is a lot at this stage of the game. All right, so this game, I'll explain a little bit about the power-ups that we get in this game. You'll notice I took damage there. That damage was for a reason. So there are 2 different types of power-ups in this game. There's a piece of power, and there's the Guardian Acorn. So they both depend on your kill count. So every 32 plus the amount of heart containers that you have. By the way, here's Hinox. Let's see if I can. All right, perfect fight. Nice. So yeah, jump slashing Hinox reduces your knockback and allows you to hit him a lot faster. But anyway, so piece of power drops after every 32 plus the amount of heart containers you have kills. Guardian Acorn, and that increases your walk speed, doubles your sword's power, and also increases your sword's knockback. We actually manipulate for that later in the run, but I'll get to that when we get there. The other one is the Guardian Acorn, which was the reason I took the damage, because Guardian Acorns in the speedrun are honestly totally worthless. We don't want them. All they do is waste us time. So that was the reason I took the damage there. I took it on purpose in order to keep that from happening. And the reason why taking damage makes it not appear is because those appear after every 14 kills you get. I think it's 14. Pretty sure it's 14. 14 kills you get without taking damage. And if you take damage, it resets. So this room, oh god, that was bad. So this room, you actually have to kill these enemies in a specific order. First the Pulse Voice, then the Keese, then the Stalfos. And I don't know what that first pot throw was. That was not good at all. Of course, now I have the Nightmare Key there, and we're gonna make our way to the boss. By the way, the boss of this dungeon is the best boss in video game history. And by that, I mean he sucks. He's awful. He's just the worst boss ever. He exists for no reason. He takes 3 phases. He takes 3 phases at the start of just really long cycles. And then his second phase, he's got like 2 main phases. His first phase just consists of 3 cycles. You can jump across here, by the way. His first phase consists of 3 cycles that are all really long, and then a second phase consists of 2 cycles that are also really long. So yeah, you're just kind of standing here avoiding some fireballs that he's throwing at you, and it's a pretty trivial fight. This would be a really good time for donation reading, honestly. What's next? Yeah, like I mean, ordinarily, yeah, I would allow time for donations here, for sure. What's next? Something called Villa Skip is up next. So, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna buy. Okay, actually, I probably should have grabbed the rupees. So I might have to actually hope that that Tracy sells me the potion for 28. Otherwise, I need to find a way to get rupees. I think I have a way to get rupees. I just need to find it. I might need to grind a bit if the price is 42 and not 28. But either way, shouldn't be a problem. Worst case scenario, I'm just kind of finding rupees. Alright, so I actually double hit him with the Spin Slash there. The angle was good for it. And then you can actually tell which genie like that's spinning around you is going to materialize as the real genie by just looking at the one that's farthest from the middle. Alright, so yeah, that was apparently a gold dungeon too, by the way. I don't understand that one bit. No, like, I actually legitimately don't understand why that was a gold. My 3-kill room was bad, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Alright, so what I'm gonna do... Actually, yeah, I know what I'm gonna do. So if Tracy's count... If Tracy sells it to me for 42, I'm gonna say no, and go out, kill something, and come back. That's the best way to handle this, I think. Alright, so we're gonna go over here and uncover this warp portal here, which we're gonna use later in the run. So that's the warp to Dompe's shack. Say hello to Dompe's shack. Alright, so I need to pay attention to how much Tracy's selling for here. And it's 28. Cool, I'm lucky. Awesome. So that's fine. The reason that actually mattered is because I want to buy 3 sets of bombs. I also need some rupees. I need to get a total of, I think, 76 rupees. Excuse me, 86 rupees for things that I need to buy just in general, like bombs. I'm about to buy 3 sets of bombs here in the shop. Not only are we going to buy 3 sets of bombs, but we're also going to steal a shovel. We're just going to... not that. We're just going to take this and hopefully get out. Cool. So, yeah, I kind of screwed up a little bit there, but I was lucky that the pattern was what it was. But yeah, so you can just steal in this game, and this game likes to teach you life lessons. Nice, happy shopkeeper that just murdered you. For stealing something. That's awesome, right? But yeah, the life lesson that this game tries to teach you is that don't steal, or else the shopkeeper will literally murder you, but at least you get to keep the item. You know, like, that's all well and good. Alright, so I mentioned Villa Skip in Dungeon 2. Now we're going to perform it. We're going to sort of attack this fox over and over. Don't worry, the fox is fine. It's a dream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my damage down to a damage that a bomb can kill me with. And I'm going to use the bomb to actually damage boost me, the bomb and the fox simultaneously, to damage boost me on top of this stone right here. And I'm going to be able to skip the entirety of Candlelight Castle. So here we go. There we go, we got it. So we're on top of the rock, and we're going to go ahead and dig up the slime key, and we just skipped about 5 minutes of gameplay. Hell yeah. So no Richard, no 5 golden leaves. None of that filler stuff. We're just going straight into Dungeon 3. None of this casual stuff. Yeah, Fox kind of didn't get out of my way there. Give me rupees, please. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Didn't really want to. So I need more rupees than what I have. In fact, I'm actually kind of shocked that I have so few. I need to get some rupees. Oh, I need. I'm about to get 300 rupees in Dungeon 3. That's one thing. This room has a bunch of different ways I like to react to it, depending on depending on which way the bombs go. If the right bomb goes up, I usually go left first. Any other way, I go attack that bomb first, and then get the rebound to kill the Stalfos. But that room could have been better, with especially the left side, but whatever. No piece of power yet, huh? Like, it's right around here where I'm actually looking for a piece of power drop to sort of, like, confirm like around where my kill count is, but I haven't seen one yet. I feel like he's gonna drop it, so I'm not gonna be able to avoid it if he does, so I'm just gonna avoid him. Again, I took damage actually intentionally there, by the way, to avoid an acorn drop in the next room. Took more there because, you know, that was intentional too, right? Don't judge me. Oh, one thing I didn't mention is that we also stole the bow. We're going to be using that in D3. These Zols, by the way, are actually the worst enemies in the game. It's a problem. Alright, so here we have the Dodongo snakes, the world famous blobs Dodongo snakes. They are very fun. And by that I mean they're kind of bad. I don't like them. But you know, it is what it is. After 4 moves, they open their mouths, or they can eat bombs again after 4 moves. There are a bunch of RNGs they can give you there, but you can react to most of them and have the fight end as soon as possible. So, all right. So now we just got the best item in the game, the Pegasus Boots, and we're gonna use that to go fast, very fast. Like, this is basically the item that the entire run is based off of, right here. So the entire movement-based part of the run is based off of, I should say. We're gonna go up here. I want to save arrows, so I'm not gonna bomb arrow the last bomb right there. Usually I do, or like you can bomb arrow that to save maybe a second or two, but not that big of a deal. I didn't mention bomb arrows, by the way. So bomb arrows actually are an intended mechanic in this remake. I should clarify. It's kind of debatable whether or not they're intended in the original Link's Awakening. By the way, I didn't even mention anything about the original. I'll get to that after Dungeon 3. There's plenty of time to talk after Dungeon 3. Alright, so now we're making the trek up here. We're going to kill this Zol. This Zol was what was keeping the chest from spawning in this room south of here, and we're gonna get 300 rupees in this room. It's actually, I'm also gonna get the key to the right of the entrance. It's actually slightly faster to get that chest first, very slightly faster, just because of like the time it takes to walk and charge your dash. It's just less dashes this way. Alright, so now we're gonna get our last key. This dungeon, by the way, is oh, that's horrible. Come on, see, they're awful. This dungeon is based on a center like corridor type thing, where you need a total of 4 keys to unlock all the key blocks. Now that we have all 4 keys, we're just gonna go ahead and unlock all of them. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. And there's 4. Kind of a neat design, honestly. I like it. I like that guy too. He just kind of stays there too. He just kind of chills. I'm gonna get an acorn drop there. See, I know, because I'm psychic. Also, interesting to note, so here's Slime. You gotta bonk the wall to make him fall down. We're gonna split him in 2. This fight honestly is it's pretty simple. Oh. Well, it could have been simpler than that, I guess. Alright. So what was I talking about? I legitimately don't remember what I was talking about like 30 seconds ago. Oh yeah, okay, so I can actually manipulate. Now that I know that Tracy's original price was 28 rupees, I can manipulate the next price. So I need to just kill one enemy outside. And that's it. Okay, I guess I'll talk about the original. The original and the DX remake. So the original was released in 1993. The lore of the history of the making of this game is actually really interesting because it's two guys who basically worked on Link to the Past, and Shigeru Miyamoto did not like any of their ideas for Zelda, and he stuck pretty true to like his original vision for the game. So they just kind of went and made their own game, and it ended up being the original Link's Awakening in 1993 for the Game Boy. And that got rehashed in 1997. I believe it was 97. Okay, that's actually a good piece of power job. So I did kill a pig, we're good. We're going to warp from here, and we unlocked that warp in the process, by the way. Warp from here to over here. I do believe Tracy is going to be fine. If she gives me 42, I hate her. Okay, good. It's 28. Cool. I do need 25 more rupees, though. So I think what I'm going to do... Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the... I'm going to get the rupee shrine... The shrine rupees, excuse me. The rupee shrines. Neat little thing I did there, by the way. I started charging on the ladder, or on the top of the ladder, and then went ahead and just dropped, and I continued my charge in midair. Nice little optimization. So we're gonna get the ocarina now, and then we're gonna do a huge skip that's kind of similar to Villa Skip, except much broader in scale. We're gonna drag a fox basically all the way across the island. Also, I'm pretty ahead on kills, I think. Also, I do really need this these rupees here. I'd planned to get these all along, but yeah, we're all set for rupees now. I haven't talked about the movement, by the way. So the boots movement, you'll notice that at the end of a lot of these dashes, I'm actually slashing with sword. So it takes 10 frames to cancel a dash with sword, and it takes 10 frames to actually just slow to a stop by holding the other direction, so we just kind of choose to use the sword a lot of the time. However, the method I like the best, if I can control it, like, at the time, is actually canceling with feather. Because when you jump, you land, and you are immobile for 4 frames only. And that includes jumping out of dashes as well, so it's only a 4-frame... It's 4 frames to cancel out of a feather. Cancel a dash out of a feather, excuse me, or with a feather. Which means it's 6 frames faster to jump if you can. So that's my preferred method of canceling a dash, but sometimes it's not always possible. So sometimes it's not always possible, and other times it's not always faster, just because of the distance you dash. Oh yeah, so we're learning the Ballad of the Windfish, by the way. Sorry I talked over that song. But yeah, we're also about to drag this fox all the way across the island, and hopefully I get this skip first try, because this skip saves about 4 minutes over the course of the entire run, and loses you about 2.5 minutes if you fail it. I'm not kidding. So I need to make sure I get this, and it's pretty specific. The timing, at least, is pretty specific. This guy needs to get out of here. This trick is pretty cool, by the way. You can actually just, like, have the fox there. Whoops. That was bad. I just didn't land on the ladder. There we go. So we get the fox all the way up here. And now we're off. Nothing really much else to say at this point, honestly, until we get to the actual keyhole. But basically what I'm going to be doing is, this is called Angler Key Skip. And it skips getting the Angler Key, the key to Dungeon 4. So it skips a lot of movement across the overworld. It skips the date with Marin. It skips waking up the Walrus in order to go to Yarna Desert to defeat Landmola and finally get the Dungeon 4 key, the Angler Key. But instead, we're just going to use this fox to boost ourselves up onto the statue with the keyhole. Go ahead and shoot. Okay. Maneuvering with this fox can be kind of difficult around here, too. Especially with enemies in the way. Alright, so I want to get down to at the most 2 hearts. Here we go. Alright, so... Alright. This looks fine, actually. Okay, got it. I was actually really worried that was going to fail, because I honestly rushed it a little bit. But we are totally fine. So that was Angler Key Skip. That is one of the run killers of this run, and we're past it, so we are totally good. If I were to fail that, by the way, I can just, like... I would A, have a backup save at the beginning of Dungeon 4, and B, I could try to skip again and still be well under estimate. Oh, he got in my way, and that's pretty bad. Not really sure how much I care about arrows in this run, because it depends on whether or not my skip in Dungeon 7 is successful, because you want a lot of arrows for the Dungeon 7 boss, but the skip I'm talking about and the skip I've been talking about in Dungeon 7 is actually it skips the boss, so I don't know how much I care. I probably care. I'm gonna go with I care. Yeah, I think I care. At least for this purpose, I care. Okay. So, in Dungeon 4, which is the Angler Tunnel, by the way, called the Angler Tunnel, I'm going to be looking for a piece of power late in the dungeon, and we're also going to be splitting Dungeon 4. The reason we're splitting Dungeon 4, we're coming back to finish it later. D4 is actually going to be the dungeon we finish last. And I'll get to that in a second. Oh, that's great. That's just bad RNG, honestly. So right here, this tile right here, stepping on that, and it lights up blue, that tells me I'm on the correct RNG seed for the egg minute, by the way. Just to make things clear. Remember I said earlier, I will know in D4 whether or not my seed is correct? That is how I know. Because that particular tile pattern is supposed to be random every time. But, okay, that's perfect piece of power drop, so, okay. It's tied to the same RNG seed as the egg path. Alright, so here's cue ball. 1 spin, 2 spin, slash arrow, spin, and my last spin was late. Oh well, that's fine. That wasn't quite a perfect cue ball fight, but it suffices. It's fine. Alright, so we're gonna get the flippers, and we're gonna leave. And I'll explain why we're leaving right now. I'll explain why we're leaving as I get the song Mambo's Mambo. So immediately, since we got the flippers, we're just gonna go ahead and go into this cave right here. So the reason I split Dungeon 4 is because, so typically after you finish Dungeon 4 in casual play, you get a side quest. The ghost comes and follows you around and tells you to bring it to its home on the beach, and then it plays a cutscene that's about 5 decades long. You want to, and then the ghost tells you to bring it to his gravestone, and it's just like, it's a slog, and it's just like a couple of minutes out of the way, and you don't want to do that. So instead, it only takes 27 seconds to split Dungeon 4 in 2 parts. The way the ghost works is weird, how it spawns, so you need to have completed Dungeon 4, and you need to go south of a certain point on the map, which we actually never go past after we complete Dungeon 4 later on. So we don't have to worry about it at all. So we skip that side quest completely. So now that we have Mambo's Mambo, which allows us to warp to any warp point on the island, we can go down to the Seashell Mansion. So there are actually a couple of different ways I can go here, but I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna go do Armos Maze and get the D6 key first. Reason being, so remember I said about Piece of Power manipulation? I want Piece of Power for the Dungeon 5 boss, and I just find this route to be more comfortable for that particular kill count. So I know from my Piece of Power, from where my Piece of Power landed in Dungeon 4, that I currently, with the amount of hearts I have, and the fact that I'm about to skip a certain Armos kill coming up because it helps with a count, I know, let's see, so it's 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Never mind. So I while I was talking, I was distracted myself. And I was supposed to kill that Zol, but it's fine. I just need to count one less now. So I'm actually at 5. So I can kill up to 5 what I call extra enemies from this point on. What I mean by extra enemies is enemies I either don't always ordinarily kill, or enemies I have to kill to progress. Let me get some arrows. This mini boss is kind of weird. His hitbox is questionable, and it takes a specific timing on an arrow shot here in order to get this quick kill. There we go, got it, cool. That was clean. And he drops the face key, which shockingly has a face on it. Cute smiley face. The cutest key in the game. So now that we have the D6 key, we're gonna go do D5 because that makes sense, right? That makes perfect sense. But yeah, so all those enemies I killed count toward my Piece of Power count, which is why I did that first. It's 2 seconds slower to do that first, as opposed to just going straight to Dungeon 5 first and getting the hook shot and taking a slightly quicker route over. But I think I make up for it in the amount of enemies, or like, I make up for it by just killing less enemies for my kill route. I'm like the only person who does that, and I have no idea why. I think it's totally worth it, but whatever. Okay, entering Dungeon 5. So I know entering Dungeon 5, I can kill 5... I want to kill at least 5 extra enemies. Okay, it actually ended up being not a bad room. That Helmaster can be a really troll, honestly. He was a troll. He faced me. He faced me originally. When he faces you, like the front of their face is like a mask, and you can't attack them through the mask. That was actually, ooh, crush him. Oh, he's on the blocks. I've never seen that. Well, now I know that can happen. That's cool. Dungeon 5, by the way, involves a lot of auto-loading. A lot of auto-loading. By the way, I'm at 2 extra kills now out of 5, so the entire way through this Dungeon 5, I'm counting my extra kills to make sure that I have the right amount. Alright. Say hello to our new friend, by the way, Master Stalfos. We fight this guy 4 times. Because once wasn't good enough. Neither was twice or 3 times. So what we do is we lay a bomb. You lay a bomb before you attack him, just as a little optimization. You do that 3 times, and he's gone. And then he says, "Oh, I can't beat you. I'm leaving," and then leaves, and then comes back to try and beat us, even though he can't beat us. It's a sad tale, honestly. Catch us in the sequel, the Return of Master Stalfos, where you play as Master Stalfos and get revenge on Link. Except you don't, because this was a dream, and the island disappears after the game. Yeah, it's a sad tale, like I said. So now you fight him again and do the same thing again. It's just the same fight, essentially. There it is. He's gone. Ah, I can't beat you. I'm leaving. and then he comes back 3 screens later. It's really sad. It's a sad tale. Well, I usually get a kill in that room. That's interesting. So we're still at 2 extra kills. I actually need to kind of get some kills. There are some rooms coming up where I do get kills. After this fight, I will be auto-loading to get back to the beginning of the dungeon and fight Master Stalfos for the 4th and final time. So right here in this room, I want to get some kills. That works. That's 2. So I only really need, quote-unquote, 1 more. I can kill as many as 7. Basically, like, this is just like a really... I don't know. I do some weird stuff to count here, but it works for me, so it's whatever. Master Stalfos for the 4th time, who mysteriously does not have any dialogue on his 4th fight. I don't know why. And there we go. And Master Stalfos is going to drop the hook shot. There it is. Because I don't know why he had it. I really don't. I have no idea. I don't make the rules. But anyway, so now that we have the hook shot, we're gonna go get the boss key. We're gonna get the boss key, and then we're gonna go to the boss room. But we're not gonna get to the boss room in a conventional way at all. It's actually a really neat trick. We do something called skewing. So you might have noticed when you jump in this game, you actually kind of like face a way that's not the traditional 8 directions that you normally face, which if you've noticed anything about the movement is in fact completely like octagonal with no angles in between. I'm gonna kill both these guys, okay. So now I'm actually at 7. Yeah, I'm at 7 now. Okay, good. I believe. I should be good for piece of power count. But when you jump in this game, you can actually face in angles other than the 8 angles that you can ordinarily walk in, right? You can use that angle and keep that angle in order to do some things that were probably not intended by the developers, and we're about to see that right here. So we're basically about to hookshot something that we're very likely not supposed to be able to hookshot from where we are. I'm making my way to the boss room. I should get a piece of power drop. By the way, piece of power are the little triangle things that drop. I don't know if you've noticed, but so we have 3 enemies right here. One of them is going to drop piece of power. There it is, last one. Okay, good. So that makes the boss so much easier. And here's the trick I was explaining, by the way. So we're going to skew our angle just a little bit. That was a little off. I was a little bit too far to the right. I was too far to the right again. Don't do this to me. There we go. Okay. So yeah, you're not supposed to be able to hookshot that. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. You're not supposed to be able to do that. But we do it anyway, and that skips a small key and a mini boss fight. So it works. Saves a lot of time. So here's Slimeal, and you'll see the reason we get piece of power. Actually, well, if the fight goes well, you won't see the reason we get piece of power, but after the first cycle of Slimeal, after you damage him, he can get really trolly if he doesn't die, and this piece of power is designed to one cycle him. So, okay. Perfect fight. That's exactly what I was looking for. Yeah, so without piece of power, so imagine I only got like 8 or 10 hits on him there. He can go around the arena in any of the 4 holes that are in the room, or he can come out of any of the 4 holes. And it's RNG, like it's completely RNG, and sometimes you just can't get to him, and sometimes he even sends out a fake. Like he sends out a fake eel that you, like when you pull him out, he Like you can't attack it. Like it's a fake. It doesn't work. So just trust me on that one. It just doesn't work. But yeah, that fight can get really trolly really fast if you don't kill him right away, which is why we manipulate Piece of Power for that specific kill, and really no others in the run, or at least I do. I only manipulate it for that fight. That's it. Really no other fight, honestly, in my opinion at least, is worth routing Piece of Power for, and like going out of your way to do it. Get that guy away. Okay. Bomb Fairy control you there really easily. Luckily he didn't this time, but we're about to enter Dungeon 6. We're about to perform in Dungeon 6 a skip that was just recently discovered, like literally 3 days ago. Or no, actually, it's funny. It was discovered like once the game came out, like very soon after the game came out. But actually wasn't known about until just recently, so. But essentially what I'm gonna do is after I get the bracelet, which will take about a minute, after I get the bracelet, I'm gonna get my first small key, which is in the upper part of the dungeon, and then I'm gonna backtrack and sort of like surf on a wall, and it's interesting. It actually looks really interesting, you'll see. But Dungeon 6 is personally my favorite dungeon. It's very cool in the speedrun, has great music, great strats. It's just really good. Also a really, really cool boss fight. It's funny how Facade, the boss of Dungeon 6, went from being the easiest joke of a boss in the original speedrun to one of the coolest, if not the coolest boss fight in this speedrun. Because in the original game, you could damage Facade before he even spawned on the floor. Like, it actually was a joke. I'm not exaggerating. It was actually a joke. I'm gonna get that arrow pick up there. So coming up is a room where I can get one of two different RNGs from an anti-fairy that spawns. Depending on which RNG I get, if he goes down and right, I can bomb arrow him and kill both Wizrobes. If he doesn't, I need to do an alternate strat. He's going down left. Okay, so I need to do alternate strat. But I could stand right here and bomb arrow him down if he went down right and kill both Wizrobes, but it, for whatever reason, just doesn't work. Whoops, that was the wrong way. It doesn't work for some reason when he goes down left. Alright, so now I'm going to do that skip. So the idea is to basically glide along the wall here, but I first need to get on the wall. There we go. Okay, get on the statue. Come on. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so we just skipped a huge portion of Dungeon 6. And this is Nightmare Key early in D6. We're just gonna play a song for these guys, and they're dead. Goodbye. I love that strat. That's one of the best strats in the game, honestly. All right, so yeah, bad luck here. More Dodongos, by the way. In case the first Dodongo fight wasn't enough for you, now there's holes in the floor. This fight is a lot more obnoxious. Okay, that works, I guess. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's fine. He's gonna eat it. You're gonna eat it and you're gonna like it, bud. Make no mistake. But yeah, if there was anything I didn't like about this dungeon before, it's now gone. Because what I didn't like about this dungeon before was how awkward the routing was, honestly. Like, the routing is very awkward. Or the routing was very awkward. Now it's really not. Now it's just like a streamlined thing. And it's really nice now that that skip is in place. So now we're just kind of going backwards to the dungeon now. Oh wow. Okay. I'm gonna grab these arrows and then get in position for a bomb arrow here. There we go. Perfect. Ooh, that was a really tight turn. Wow. Okay, here's Smasher. If I'm really lucky, I can pick up the ball first. Perfect. That's actually super tight. And I'm glad I got it. That was a really good fight. Really good fight, actually. But you need to enter on the left side of the room and also just be like really, really perfect in your inputs. That's not what I wanted to equip. Entering facade with 27 arrows should be fine. I'll be low on arrows for Eagle if anything, but honestly, it's fine. It's worth it for the D6 time save. Just let me just kind of like go around the room and let those gels kind of fall in the hole. Cool strat there too. All right, so facade. Facade is susceptible to bombs, but we're gonna do something cooler than that. So these tiles are gonna fly around at me, and I'm gonna use the tiles to shoot bomb arrows at to damage facade, and it's really, really, really cool. It's just such a cool boss. I love this boss so much. We'll and there's like the perfect amount of RNG to this boss too. It's like really fun to fight. The first three are always the same. Oh, I forgot to leave the bomb right away. But yeah, the first three are always the same. There we go. So now I'm going to shoot that pot to damage him. There we go. Alright, that wasn't bad. It could have been a little better, but honestly, that wasn't bad. But yeah, that boss fight is super cool. Just get my equips out of the way before I leave to save a few. That was a gold dungeon 6, by the way. I saved, let's see, over my previous PB in that dungeon 6, I saved 41 seconds. Yikes. That's... I just don't think my dungeon 6 was very decent, my PB. Then again, it's a new skip, so it's whatever. My PB for this game, as of the time of this recording, is a 1 hour 16 minute flat time. Yesterday, my PB was a 1:19:44, and it is now a 1:16 flat because of this Dungeon 7 skip. So, starting right about here, by the way, also, I meant to equip Hookshot enough there. Stupid. Anyway, starting right here is where the run gets really, 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 really interesting. So, we're about to go learn the Frog Song of Soul. Which is going to allow us to awaken the rooster. And any innuendos I could make, I will refrain from making at this moment concerning the rooster. But either way, I will. We will be using this rooster for huge gains, huge tricks. You'll see. Honestly, it turns the rest of the game into a glitch fest. The rest of this game is straight up a glitch fest, like from start to finish. Maybe not to finish, but like the next 10 minutes, you're not gonna want to take your eyes away from the screen. This signpost maze, by the way, just like, you know, just read the signs in order. It tells you where to go. And then at the end, Wart comes and sings to you. I'm not kidding. Wart from SMB2 comes and sings to you. For the low price of 300 rupees, you too can be serenaded by Wart from Super Mario Brothers 2. I'm not kidding. You thought I was joking. You thought this was a ruse. It's not a ruse. It's entirely factual. I'm not joking, and this song is an absolute banger. If you disagree, then just reject this run. Just do it. You won't. I felt that last note. Anyway, okay, so now we have the Frog Song of Soul, which Link is going to use for literal, what's the word? Necromancy? Necromancy? I don't know how you pronounce it. Whatever, dude. But anyway, we're gonna wake the dead with this song. Again, you think I'm joking. You think this is a game? This is a game, but you think I'm joking? I assure you I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Either way. Okay, so we're awakening the rooster currently. This rooster is going to allow us to do wonderful things on Telltale Heights, involving ladders mostly. So first and foremost, we're going to do something called a ladder air climb with the rooster. So we're gonna pick up the rooster and climb on the ladder in such a way that the game is going to think that we're still climbing on the ladder, even though we're not, and it's going to allow us to climb super high. And that's going to allow us to get on top of Invisible Collision above the walls and access Dungeon 8 before Dungeon 7. Which means we do not need the Mirror Shield from Dungeon 7 to access Dungeon 8. So this is this saves a lot of time. So right here, this is a very peculiar glitch though, so I could fail it. But it's not that slow to fail, so let's see how it works. That was perfect. Awesome. Yeah, that's a really finicky glitch because the game has you like land on the Invisible Collision, but sometimes it seems to just decide not to let you jump off of it, which is kind of peculiar. But anyway, yeah, we got it first try, so that's perfect. And it does, the glitches do not stop there. In Dungeon 8 is going to be a whole other story. I'm going to, there we go. So after I fight this turtle, I'm going to do something in Dungeon 8 that honestly, I really don't know how it works, and neither really does anybody. Nobody knows how this trick works, at least at the time of this recording. Also, this is a really good fight so far. Wow, that was the best turtle fight I've ever had. I'm not even joking. Anyway, so I'm just going to let you know that this Dungeon 8 is 4 rooms long. So there's the first room, this is the second room. What am I doing? So we're gonna get to this room with the Hinox up here, or Hinox, however you pronounce it. I don't care how you pronounce it. We're gonna use them to get to the end of the dungeon. So by firing a bomb arrow at just a specific point. That was a frame early. Basically, what the aim is to get grabbed by the Hinox and damage yourself on the same frame. There we go. That's it right there. So we warp here. This is the boss room. This is where you fight Hothead. Except he doesn't trigger, because he only triggers when you walk to the front of the room. When you actually like stand at the front of the room, he only triggers at that point. So yeah, I'm not even gonna attempt to explain how that works, but that, I like to call that Hinox Heave or Hinox Houdini. It is a very peculiar glitch, and we're gonna try to do something similar in Dungeon 7, although it's probably not gonna work, and I'm prepared for it to not work. Honestly, I'm gonna give it like 1, maybe 2 tries, and then just call it quits on the trick if it decides to be difficult, because it probably will decide to be difficult. But yeah, oh, by the way, we're just like kind of walking on stuff we're not supposed to walk on here. It's fine. In order to backtrack, well, not even really backtracking, also these boulders. So we're on a trek to Dungeon 7 right now, and we're just gonna like use this rooster to clip through the ground here and walk on the mountain with the egg. I don't know why there's collision on this mountain, but I'll be damned if you can't just walk across the thing like it's nothing And I don't know why there's collision on the mountain. Grezzo, why is there... Anyway, let's get back to the point of hand here. So we're getting the Dungeon 7 key. The bird key, as you will. And we're going to use this rooster the only intended way, the only time the rooster is ever used in the intended method in this entire run. And the rooster's still with us, by the way, even after completing Dungeon 8, because he doesn't go away until you finish Dungeon 7. So we have him until we finish Dungeon 7. So we have the rooster for quite a while. I'm a little low on health. So in order to even attempt the Hinox Eve in Dungeon 7, I do need to be at full health, or I would prefer to be at full health. By the way, that's another air climb. We're flying over collision this time, and walking on the walls. This is completely normal. Yeah, and we're about to do something similar to get up to Dungeon 7. There we go. We're just gonna fall through the ground. Just kidding. We're here. So yeah, this game is weird, man. It's a really cool speed game though, and I love it. I love this speed game. I hate the glitch I'm about to try right here. I hate this glitch. It's the setup I'm going to be using or attempting to use is double frame perfect. So we'll see if this decides to work. And not only is it double frame perfect, but it also involves using 2 bomb arrows to damage yourself. As well as the half a heart of damage that you take from the Hinox actually healing you. Actually, I can grab those 2 hearts without having to heal on the anti-fairy. Nice. Cool. Well, I want to be at 7 hearts. I'm specifically at 7 hearts for a reason, by the way. I figured it's the best health to be at. All things considered for this glitch, but yeah, if this doesn't work, I'll just auto load and complete the dungeon as normal. The dungeon as normal is pretty cool too, honestly. But I'm honestly like, I'd be shocked if this worked under this kind of setting. But I'll give it a shot. I'm only like 40 or so seconds behind my PB currently, so I'll at least give it an honest shot. Alright, so here we go. Nope, I was late on it. I'll give it one more. I'm gonna go ahead and kill these guys for their health. And I'll give it one more try, and if I don't get it on this try, I'll auto load. Nope. Okay. Yeah, I'll auto load. That's a shame. That's a shame. But yeah, anyway, that would have sent me on... Okay, so what that would have done was that would have placed me on a wall near the instrument room that I could just walk on the wall to the instrument room. So we're going to go ahead and use the ball. Yeah, like I said, Dungeon 7 is still pretty cool even when you aren't using Hinoxes to yeet you across the dungeon. So the premise of Dungeon 7 casually is to use this ball to knock down the 4 pillars that are on the 2nd floor in order to make the, second floor. Knock down the 4 pillars that are on the 2nd floor to bring the 4th floor down to the 3rd floor so you can access the boss. It's a really interesting concept for a dungeon, honestly. And there's a pretty cool trick that's coming up in a few rooms. that involves bombs and actually glitching myself over a fence. Let's see if I can make that work. So we're gonna need to go in that bombed wall later, which is why I decided to do it now. Saves an arrow as well, since I will be fighting Eagle now. Evil Eagle is awful Eagle, and requires quite a few arrows to beat if you want any sort of quickness to your fight. Alright, so here we go. I'm gonna be laying a bomb, and I'm inside the ball right now. So I'm gonna position myself perfectly here. And jump over the fence. And there we go. That's the trick. So I call that Cannonball. It's a good name, I think. But yeah, it involves, like, basically just kind of, like, using the ball to get yourself over the fence. It's nice, and it saves, like, 10 seconds. The way I did it, it took me a bit to set up the second one, so it probably saved me about, I don't know, 5 seconds. Also, we just fought Sans. We got the no-hit Sans Undertale. I don't know if you've heard of Sans Undertale, but I haven't. Alright, so now I have the Nightmare Key. And we're gonna go back and knock down the last pillar. We still have work to do. That wasn't the worst that could have been. So we need to make that chest appear because we need the hook shot across that gap right there, coming down. So remember when I hey, what's up, Enox? Long time no see. All right, bye. So remember when I bombed that wall earlier? Yeah, we're going back there. There we go. So we're going back here and bombing that. By the way, there is a single bomb in that chest, just one bomb. You can tell they really just wanted to use that chest for the hook shot across. Yep, so that brings the 4th floor down to the 3rd floor and allows the boss to be accessible, and we're just going to beeline straight to the boss. Ah! So since I am doing this route, I will be killing as many Goombas as I can here for piece of power routing in Dungeon 4 for the Dungeon 4 boss. I'm gonna try my best to kill just every one of them. Except that guy. That guy can live. Kill you too. Alright, so Eagle. I have 5 extra arrows for Evil Eagle. Not the optimal number, for sure, but honestly, it's fine. We'll make do. Alright, so 4 arrows right off the bat right here. There's 4, 5, 6. So he'll take 11 total hits, or what I consider to be hits. 7, 8. And he'll do this cycle too. Like, this cycle is the only cycle where you really can't damage him at all. It's kind of a pain. That's 9 total. 11. Wait, I skipped one. Whatever, it was 11. Whatever. Anyway, Eagle's dead. Doesn't matter how many hits it took, he's dead. I think I can probably skip all health from here on. I think. Okay, so I already know that my, remember the room that I went into in Dungeon 4 way early in the run to step on a tile and have it light up blue. So I know from that tile lighting up blue that my pattern is going to be that for that room, my pattern for that room is going to be down right, up left, down left, middle, up right. Just trust me, that's what it is. Yeah, I can skip that. Assuming I get Piece of Power before Anglerfish, which I really should. Considering how many enemies I killed in Dungeon 7. Really should. I even killed the 2 extra likes too, like again. So I should be perfectly fine. Oh, I need to go in there. Don't go past the warp. If I kill these guys, by the way, it spawns a really long animation where a key falls into the hole in the room. And I don't want that animation to happen. I also don't want to kill these guys just in case they drop Piece of Power. There are 3 Zols right before the boss room that I can split into 2 and get 6 kills that way. There's also a P-Hat that I can kill for free if he doesn't give me bad RNG. For free, except for RNG. Oh, there it is. Yep. See, I knew it. I knew that it was gonna get. I knew it was gonna do that. All right. So yeah, that jump as well. You can do that in Dungeon 4 in the original Link's Awakening as well, and they didn't really fix that. So you can do it again. Except it was even easier actually. In the original, I think they didn't foresee you blowing up the pots with bomb arrows, because you need to do that in order to make that jump. There's another way to do it too, involving the hook shot. All right, so Anglerfish with Piece of Power, we should be making quick work of him. There we go, he's dead. He really stood a chance, honestly. Put up a good fight. But yeah, Piece of Power on Anglerfish just kind of makes really quick work of him. We're gonna skip that heart container. Alright, so now we have all the instruments. So now we're gonna go up to the top of a mountain and play all 8 instruments simultaneously, because, you know, humans can do that. And go and crack a hole in a giant Yoshi egg. So we're gonna warp to Dompe's shack. And this is it. This is the home stretch. No more glitches, by the way. Glitches have ended. No more glitches. There is a neat little quick kill, though, on one of the phases. Actually, a couple of the phases of the final boss. Basically, the final boss has, I think, 6, if I'm not mistaken, different phases. There's the blob phase. There's the Aghanim phase. If you know Link to the Past, you know Aghanim. You know how annoying he is. There's the Moldorm phase, there's the Ganon phase, there's the Landmola phase, and then there's the final phase called, I believe it's officially called Death Eye, but everyone in the community calls him Deathel, because the I is just a capital I, and I guess people mistook that for a lowercase l. So just call him Deathel. Spelled D-E-T-H-I. But I think they kind of messed up when they made it just an uppercase I without a hyphen or anything. So it just looks like Deathel, D-E-T-H-L. I like that name better anyway, to be honest with you. So, just like I knew the tile pattern in Dungeon 4. I know exactly what way I have to go in the egg because of my RNG seed. So the way I have to go in the egg is right, up, left, left, up for my seed. You can choose any seed you want, really, to aim for. I choose seed number 31 for no particular reason. That also really doesn't mean anything to anyone other than me and other runners. So basically there are different seeds with different egg paths, which corresponds to the amount of seconds it takes you to start the game after powering on your Switch. That's the long story short. So now we're in the windfish egg. The windfish, I don't know how much I want to go into lore for this game or whatever, but the windfish is basically the source of this entire island. The windfish is sleeping and you're in his dream. And we have to go wake him up because there are nightmares intruding on his dreams. Not intruding, that's the wrong word. There are nightmares infiltrating his dreams. That's the right word, infiltrating. And this is the source of it right here. So we need to defeat this, and in doing so we will wake the windfish and make the island of Kahalant disappear. Sad face. But you know what? It's okay because Link, we'll see. The ending credits are interesting. So this first phase, you just powder. He'll end up on the top phase, top part every time, and then from there on it's random. So look at feather and arrows. So Aghanim, his first ball that he throws is always a ball you can deflect back at him. And from here on, it's 50-50. Good luck. And it takes 4 total balls to kill him. So this next one's gonna be a blue ball. I already know. I'm psychic. It's because you're always guaranteed 1 blue ball. Nobody's ever gotten 0 blue balls. Yeah, like that sounds like a meme, but it's actually true. Nobody's ever gotten 0, but now he's screwing me over. Okay, whatever, that's fine. So now the Moldorm phase, there's a nice little quick kill for the next 2 phases here. We're just gonna spin, 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 and then normal slash for the last one to kill that Moldorm. Now the Ganon phase. Is over. There it is. So we need health for that, by the way. Like, we actually need a damage boost for at least 1 heart, normally 2 hearts for that one. And the Land Mold phase is pretty simple. And now for the last phase, so you need at least 10 arrows for this phase. Luckily I have 12. I have plenty. We're all good. And it takes 10 shots into the eye. And time will be, well, time is coming up after, actually quite a bit after I fight Deathfall. Yeah, this will be a 121. That's honestly not bad for a marathon run at all, especially with trying. Basically, I tried the world record route. It didn't quite work out, but it was still very, very well under estimate. And time is right there on the black screen, 121.23. Well, I was about 15 seconds late on the timer, so that was more like a 121.08 or so. But either way, that is the run. This is a very, very good speed run, I think, especially the marathon route, or the marathon route without D7 for now. Like, we haven't really found a way to make that totally consistent, but I'm confident in the community, and as well as myself included, to try and find different setups for this glitch that will send you straight to the instrument room. But yeah, other than that, honestly, for right now, this speedrun is really, really good. It's got a little bit of everything. It's a really good mixture of movement, menuing, glitches, and just cool stuff. Honestly, it's a really good, really good new speedrun to showcase, in my opinion. I currently am second place in this category. I'm a little bit less than a minute behind Samurai Man right now, who has a 1:15.09. But This glitch in Dungeon 7, I did hold the world record before this glitch was found and used. I held it by about 15 seconds, 13 seconds, with a 119:39, excuse me. But yeah, that's that. That's the run. I hope you enjoyed it. And now Link gets ejected from this dream world, and well, the ending is a little bit confusing to me. It's a classic ending, and honestly a really good adaptation of the original ending, just like the opening cutscene was. But it's still a little bit puzzling. You have Link just kind of drifting on the ocean. He hears Marin's voice. You just see him sitting there with a barrel. I wonder what's in the barrel. Probably nothing. And the windfish flies over. Just like in the original. This remake, like, in every way, shape, and form, is extremely faithful to the original. It's actually crazy. But yeah, Link looks up at the windfish, smiles, and it just ends. And he just continues to sit there. Honestly, I don't know. He's just there forever, I guess. It's fine. Eventually he'll reach the island of, eventually he'll reach, like, Labrina or something for Oracle's games, or Labrina and Holodrum. I don't know. He'll do something. He'll definitely do something, that's for sure. Anyway, thank you for the consideration, if to the Games Done Quick staff, if you guys watched this part, I guess. Thank you for the consideration. I'm TGH. This is Link's Awakening Switch 2019 remake, whatever you want to call it, any percent. And peace out. Thanks again. See ya.